Alright, okay, this is for the commenter that wanted to show how I feed my dogs. I feed them a raw diet. When I started feeding my dogs raw, this was actually about 3 years ago already, I think. No, maybe like 2 years ago. And I just looked up like a raw food mix online, and the recipe was for ground beef, sweet potato, some broccoli, and some berries. As of the last couple of months, ever since I took this like plunge and went like all carnivore, and seeing as to how dogs are even like more carnivorous than us, I scrapped the sweet potato and the broccoli, and now I just feed them like random cuts of meat and carcasses. Basically like whatever I eat, I give them some. But for the sake of this video, I decided to kind of show how I used to make my original like pet food mix. So, except I didn't get broccoli because I would have to buy like a whole bunch of broccoli just to get like 3 little florets or whatever, and I'm not eating broccoli, so that would be a waste of money. So I did get the small sweet potato, which I'm gonna peel after I heat it. I'm just gonna pop this into the microwave, and I'm gonna peel off the skin because we know that fiber isn't very digestible. I got 2 things of ground beef, eggs, and that's it really. I just toss everything together and I mix it with my hands, and I include the eggshell, so I'll just show what the mix looks like in a second. It's like just super easy, and my dogs are very small. That's Shirley right there. Can you see her? Yeah, Shirley, and this is Fiona. They're about 10 pounds a piece. Fiona's a little chubbier than Shirley, so Fiona's like 12 pounds. So they eat about 5 ounces a day, 5 to 6 ounces, and then I usually give them like a bone or something to chew on throughout the day and to keep their teeth clean. So let me just show you what that looks like, and that's it. Very simple. I mean, you know, they would have been scavenging on like random shit that they find out in the wild, so you know, you don't have to worry about like, you know, the balance of things that they need to have. But anyway, okay, so I'm gonna make the mix and then I'll show you what that looks like, and then I will feed it to them. Alright, once you nuke the sweet potato, just peel off the skin, throw it in the mix, and I throw in 2 eggs with the shell, because they will eat the shell if you crush it into very small pieces. Okay. And now you just get very messy. So I'm gonna peel the potato and throw it in there and then mix it. Okay, this is what it looks like when it's done. Just a bunch of mush. And I take about a handful that's like about 4 to 5 ounces for my dogs. You'll have to look up online how much you should feed your dog, depending on the weight of your dog. So this is about right for one of mine. It's about 4 to 5 ounces, maybe 6 ounces. And that's it. You just drop it in there, watch them chow. They love that stuff. And here's the other one. Here you go, Shirley. There you go. And they love this stuff. Let's see how she's doing. That's Fiona. I'll take random clips throughout the week. Whenever I feed them, just like whatever I'm having, because I don't really like prepare these mixtures anymore. Washing my hand in the bathroom. The sink is covered in the kitchen. So if you're if you're just starting to feed your dogs raw, and you're taking them off of kibble, if you want to make the transition like really slow, you just wet their kibble. Well, you should be wetting their kibble to begin with. Like, you should never feed your dogs dry food. That shit is terrible for their kidneys. That's why usually dogs, as they get older, they die usually of like kidney cancer and kidney tumors, and that's because their water's supposed to be moist because, I'm sorry, their food is supposed to be moist because that's, you know, it mimics like meat. Meat is very moist. So if you're feeding them kibble, just start adding water to their kibble, and get them used to eating like that wet kibble, and then eventually, I mean, if you want to do this like very slowly, then you can just transition them to a wet food, like just canned wet food, whatever, canned wet food you want to buy. Obviously, the higher quality, the better. And then once you're ready to start feeding them raw, you just, I believe what you're supposed to do is that the first day you fast them for just 24 hours. I think it's maybe to build up like more stomach acid. And then after that first day fast, you feed them just like 2 spoonfuls of like the raw mixture, just ground beef. And then you feed them like twice that amount the following day. And then you give them like a full serving just to kind of like get their gut adjusted. You can look this up online. I mean, I'm sure there's many recommended ways of like getting your dog on a raw diet. I honestly don't think you don't have to go like that slowly. I think you can just start feeding them raw food like after a 24-hour fast. I think you can just feed them straight up. They are going to have different, they're going to have like diarrhea at first because like anything, whenever you introduce something that isn't like a very common part of your diet, it gives you bowel issues. So don't be alarmed that they're gonna have like diarrhea and stuff, but they're not gonna get food poisoning. You're feeding them their species appropriate diet. They're supposed to be eating meat. They're not supposed to be eating kibble. If you're feeding your dog kibble, they are dying a very slow death. Okay, like that is terrible, terrible, terrible. If you're not gonna do a raw diet, then at least feed them wet food, like canned wet food. But kibble is like the absolute worst shit that you could be feeding your dogs. Okay. So especially if you're on a carnivore diet and you're feeding yourself your species appropriate diet, like it's fucked up that you would be feeding your dogs kibble, okay? Because they're even more carnivorous than we are. So get your dogs on a primal, raw primal-ish diet, or at the very least supplement with meat, or at least like carcasses that have like flesh on them, like chicken backs or something like that, because I'm telling you, the transformation that you'll see in your dogs is very, very similar to the transformation we go through when we like get on the carnivore diet. They start shedding their fur and they grow like a new coat of fur that's just like super silky, and your dogs look like ageless. Like people who have their dogs on raw meat, they look like puppies when they're like 10 years old. It's just crazy. So, and they also stop smelling. I've mentioned that in my other videos. Like, they stop getting that doggy smell. And you know what I'm talking about. If your dog's on, like, a normal diet, you know what doggy smell is. Because you have to give your dogs a bath every, like, week or every 2 weeks. And, yeah, I know this sounds gross, but my dogs go months now without baths. They're like cats. Like, cats don't need baths. They don't smell. And that goes for my dogs. But I take them to the beach and stuff every here and there. That's the only time that they really get baths. And they get kind of smelly, like, around their face because my family, like, kisses them a lot, around their necks and their faces. So, yeah, so that's it. I wonder if you can see Shirley. Oh, Shirley, come back. Shirley, come here. Yeah, it's a good girl. Oh, it's a good girl. Oh, it's a good girl, it's a good girl. Fiona's a good girl. Yay. Alright, guys, I hope this helps to whoever asked me to do this. You can get way better instructions online, but just, don't freak out about, like, the ratios of, how much sweet potato it's supposed to have or how much broccoli. I didn't even add broccoli to mine. You can also add, like, a handful of blueberries, but my dogs, they try to leave out the blueberries. Fiona will typically, she'll eat them maybe like half the time, but Shirley like strategically tries to not eat the blueberries. And the broccoli as well, but when you add the broccoli, you're supposed to like chop it very, very finely. But like I said, these days I don't add broccoli, but if you feel like your dog needs to eat vegetables for whatever reason, then just like 3 florets of broccoli, chop it up, and make sure it's steamed. It has to be cooked. Do not give them raw broccoli because for the same reasons we shouldn't eat raw broccoli, they shouldn't eat raw broccoli. So, alright guys, that's it. See you next time. Hope you enjoyed this.